All right, everyone. It's Monday, January 13th, 2025. Another episode of the He Said, She Said podcast, episode three, actually, season one. Um, I'm your host, Big Red, along with my lovely co host, Tony. Um, we're here always to talk about sports, to keep positive vibes and good energy. So, how are you, Tony? How are you doing today? How's your day going?
My day's been good, and on that theme of keeping some positive energy, I just wanted to say a quick shout out and prayers to all the people out there in LA that are struggling
Yes.
and everybody that has been coming together across the country to make sure that we support those that need us.
Yes, definitely, 100%. Prayers out to LA. Much love. Hope everybody's safe and much prayers for sure. Definitely. All right. Well, let's talk a little NFL. We had a lot of playoff action this past weekend. A lot of wild card games. We'll start off with the Chargers and the Texans. The Chargers had to go to Houston to play that game. They fell short, 32 to 12. Um, I think we both picked the Chargers in that one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think
Um,
so.
yeah, yeah. Herbert just played a real bad game, with the four interceptions. Joe Mixon ran the ball well. Um, Nico Collins had a big day. CJ Stroud played well enough, and the defense, Derek Stingley had two picks. I mean, they came to play. That crowd was behind them, and they pretty much shut the Chargers down in that one. How do you feel
Yeah.
about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I said last week held very much true is Justin Herbert has not solidified himself as a top five quarterback in the NFL because he hadn't won a playoff game, and
Yep.
he still hasn't won a playoff game. And I think on a big stage like that to throw four interceptions, whether they were all his fault, is up to be argued. And I'm not sure that all four were necessarily his fault, but four interceptions in a playoff game is just you can't solidify yourself as a top quarterback in the NFL that way. So the Chargers, they're a young team. They've got a new head coach in Harbaugh.
Yeah, bright future.
They have a bright future.
Yeah.
They definitely did not come through in a big way in a playoff game once again. And I think Chargers fans are probably sorely disappointed in that outcome because they thought that it could be different this year.
Yeah, definitely. It's
Yeah,
always like that for the Chargers fans, for sure.
and
For
I will
sure.
say,
Unfortunately.
I never want to hear Justin Herbert in the same sentence as Joe Burrow until Herbert wins a playoff game, okay? I don't want to hear it. Too many people compare them.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And
I mean, Joe Herbert's a
I am
talent for sure.
disappointed. The Bengals not being in the playoffs made them a
Yeah.
little it was a bit of a boring weekend for me, I can't lie.
Yeah, no, I feel you. No, I agree with you on that. Herbert's definitely got to win a playoff game. He's got to get it done. He's been in the league a little while now, and he's definitely got to start winning some of these more important games for
Yeah.
his career. So,
On the
but
flip side, there was a lot of doubt on CJ Stroud this year with the sophomore slump, but he came through again in the playoffs. And
second year in the league, two playoff wins. And they got to go play the Chiefs again, unfortunately. But
I mean, that's
we'll
a
talk
big
more
deal,
about
though.
that.
There's not many that have done that.
Definitely not. Yeah, definitely haven't. And to have home playoff games as well.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's something that's interesting too, is because the Chargers went into that game with a better record. And that's happening all over Wild Card weekend, is teams with a better record are having to go on the road and play the division winners who
Uh-huh.
don't necessarily have a better record. And I did hear that the NFL is considering changing that up next year, that they're going to look into that in the offseason. And I'm
I
not
hundred I
sure.
100% think they should. I think it should go. I mean, I think that the division winner should make the playoffs, 100%. But as far as the seeding goes, I think the seeding should be a little bit different as far as it
Yeah,
goes
but
with
then
that.
winning your division means nothing. You don't get it, it doesn't mean anything.
Well, you get the automatic berth.
But you
So,
don't have a home playoff game. There's something to be said about home field advantage. And what are you
well, home
fighting
field
for?
advantage should only be for the one seed,
But
for
then
if you get a
you're
top
fighting
seed.
for a better record. And there are teams.
But there's teams like
better
the
in better
Vikings.
divisions that are gonna have worse records still too. It's
I get you. It's
you're
teams like
gonna
the
have to look
Vikings
at
though
it, but
that play
winning your
tonight.
division needs to mean something.
Yeah, well, it will. It'll mean a automatic playoff berth. Not necessarily a home game. You know, it's kind of like tonight where you got the Vikings and the Rams. Vikings 14 wins. You know, the Rams, what they got like 8, 9 wins. You know, so it's like,
The Vikings should not have to go on the road to play this game
yeah,
100%. I
yeah,
totally agree with you, but winning your division also has to mean something. So they're gonna
yeah,
they're really gonna have to look into it because I don't have the answers for you today, but I
yeah.
it ha-
It's they
the
got to figure
divisions
out
have to
something with
mean
it.
something. We cannot get into an NBA situation here. The divisions have to mean something.
Yeah, it's a couple playoffs they need to work on. NFL vs college football playoffs as well, but that's another story. But yeah, no. We also another wild card game we had the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I can see your face right now. The Ravens won 28-14. Pretty much dominated that game pretty well. Derrick Henry had a huge game. Lamar Jackson, he's Lamar Jackson, you know. So, but what's your take on that game? I know you were saying the Steelers were coming into the playoffs lacking their momentum. So
Exactly
to be,
that. Who let
yeah,
them
to
in the
be,
playoffs? Who let them in the playoffs? Come on. They First of all, I don't think it was that entertaining of a game. And it was an AFC North matchup, and I don't think it was that entertaining
yeah.
of a game. I think you knew the outcome of
It's
that.
not like the normal Steelers Ravens games hype for sure. Yeah.
You knew what the outcome of that game was going to be pretty much going in from the jump.
Hmm.
Steelers have not looked good. They have been on the decline for the last 5 weeks. They have had zero momentum, and they have been boring to watch.
Yeah.
They have some talent on that team, but they have a big question at quarterback, and they have been honestly boring. And Lamar looks like an MVP.
Yeah. He's probably he might have solidified it. You know, still him and Josh Allen. You know, still got a race there. But let's talk about Josh Allen anyway. With the Bills beating the Broncos
We're
31 to
gonna do
7.
this every game, Big Red. We're gonna do this every game. All these games that the Bengals could have been in and been entertaining, interesting, and potentially won. We are gonna do
Yeah,
every single
that
one
would
of
have been
these
a
games.
more entertaining game for sure. If the Broncos would have lost that last game and the Bengals would have got in, the Bengals and Bills would have definitely been a more interesting game than what we saw.
And the blowout,
Yeah.
which we predicted. I predicted. I told you
Well,
last
you
week.
predicted. I
I
picked the
said
upset, but yeah, I
I
went.
said that the Broncos were going to give them a tough time in the first half.
Yeah,
And I don't even
true.
think it was a full half that they gave them a
Yeah,
tough.
it wasn't. It wasn't
It
a
was
full
it
half.
was early. They went up first though. And I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, look, it is going to be, tight in this first half." And then the Bills are going to blow them out in the second half, and that is exactly what happened.
yeah, no, that was Josh Allen and them boys had a big game for sure. They played well. They'll move on to the next round. My boys, the Eagles, got it done against the Packers, 22-10. Um, I knew it was going to kind of be a tough game at first, but the Eagles started off pretty fast, and the defense played well, and um, Jordan Love didn't play well. So he's one of those kind of like Herbert as well too. Got to win a playoff game. Got to start winning a couple big games um, before his contract comes up as well. So,
Agreed.
what's your take on the Eagles?
The Eagles look healthy. They look healthy. And I think that has been
Yeah.
a big issue for them in the last few
Hmm.
weeks of the season. And everybody that needs to be at full strength looks like they're at full strength.
You know what? I got something to say too about the Eagles too.
Yeah.
Now that you kind of reminded me of it. There's been a lot of criticism on Hurts. They saying about his statistics not being up there. But it's for me being an Eagles fan. I don't really care about statistics as long as they're getting the wins. He's getting the wins. He's getting the job done. He's winning playoff games. He's been to a Super Bowl, lost in a close game against the Chiefs, of course. But it's too much backlash on him as far as his stats go. You know, he didn't throw for many yards, but you know, he's efficient. Um, he worked on not turning the ball over as much this year as he did previous years. So, and they're winning, and they won the division, and so all the slander on Jalen Hurts just need to stop about the whole stats thing. You know, at the end of the day, the games you have to win. I would rather him throw for 139 yards and us win the game than him throw for 330 and 5 touchdowns and we lose. I would rather have it like
than
that
the
all
Joe
day.
Burrow
So,
scenario.
yeah, yeah,
Look, there's something to be said about teams that win and quarterbacks that win, and they win in big moments. So I agree with you. I think that there's a lot of conversation about Jalen Hurts, but he wins.
yeah, definitely for sure. But the last game of the night on Sunday was the Commanders and the Buccaneers in a good game. That was the best
That
game,
was the
in
good
my opinion.
game. The only
They
interesting
saved the
game
best
that
for
played all
last.
day.
Yeah, they say the best for last, but the Commanders ended up winning that game by 23-20. At the end, Jaden Daniels, a rookie guy, but he just shows you that all you need is a quarterback in this league. All you need is a quarterback, and you can turn your team around like that. You know,
He led
so
another game-winning drive. I mean,
yeah,
he has had so many of those this season, and I think for seasons and seasons to come, they have a guy for the next 10, 15 years, depending on how
yeah,
long the length of his career is. He
yeah.
is so poised. He's so under control for a rookie. He has rookie of the year.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah. On a
that's
chokehold.
your
Yeah,
rookie of the year. They were chanting MVP. I will tell
yeah.
you a funny story though, because when it came down to that field goal, right? And I happened to be watching this particular
Uh
game with
huh.
my dad. And we have this little thing where my dad and my brother are really, really good at calling field goal doinks.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad looks at me and he goes, doink. And then 3 seconds later, it happened to doink in,
The
but
doink in was crazy. I thought
that
it
was
actually
crazy.
missed at first, but it
I
was
thought he was
like,
gonna miss it too, but I will
yeah,
say my dad called it, and my brother and my dad, shout out them. They have an incredible tendency to be able to call when it's gonna happen.
yeah. No, that's dope. Yeah, but no, the Commanders definitely got it done.
Oh,
I like the.
one other thing, Big Red, and I want to
Oh
address
yeah.
before we move on from the Commanders. The kicker, Zane Gonzalez. There's been
Uh-huh.
a lot of memes of him on the internet and things being said about him and the hair. He he has been really, really open about his struggles with OCD.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a nervous tick of OCD and something
Yeah.
that he has a whole little routine before he kicks. So I think he's finding the humor in the memes, but to anybody that is being mean to him on the internet and rude to him, he
Yeah.
was not fixing
Being
his
hurtful.
hair.
Yeah.
He was not fixing his hair. It is a mental disorder that he is struggling with, and I just want people on the internet to remember that athletes are humans too. So
Yeah. Don't be so hurtful, man. But definitely. Yeah, I know. I definitely saw the memes about it. I didn't really see what it was all about. Like I didn't check out too many of them, but I definitely was hearing about it. But
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think his wife got online and kind of addressed the situation. Was like, it's OCD. He's been very open about it. Please stop making fun of him. It's not something that he can
yeah, yeah.
control. And it always hurts me when you see those situations because people forget these are human beings at the end of the day, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody
And all the
deserves.
hate mail and the hate comments. And,
Exactly. Hate
yeah,
comments, it's one thing. Finding a little bit of humor in it, that's, it is what it is, but
yeah. I
yeah.
mean, like I said, there's nothing wrong with having an opinion. Like if you don't like a player, then you don't like a player, but
Yeah.
you don't really have to get personal or, take stabs at their personal life maybe because they're more in the spotlight, so
I've just seen
yeah.
it so much this year. I feel like more than previous years, and a lot of it has been, I mean, this was about a mental illness, but a lot of it has been racially charged or addressing their girlfriends. It happened with Travis Hunter and his
Yeah,
girlfriend.
yeah.
It happened with a player on the Commanders, Reeves, and his proposal to his fiance. There's been a lot of hate on the internet lately, and I'm just not feeling it. I've had to log off several times.
Yeah, no, that's funny. It's funny you mentioned that about the Travis Hunter. I was speaking with a couple buddies about that, and they were, kind of criticizing him as well. I just say you kind of got to let people grow, man. You got to let people work their own things out, and
They've been together
take.
for 5 years. He knows what he's got. It's
Yeah, he know
nobody
what he
else's
dealing with.
business
Yeah,
how
exactly.
he wants to handle it, you know?
Yeah, definitely,
We don't
definitely.
know them and we don't know their story. So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. On that heavy note,
Let's
I
talk
do
about the.
I love the matchups for next week. I think it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, so you're gonna have the Chiefs playing the Texans
Yep.
out there in Arrowhead. How do you feel about that? Do you think Stroud can get it done against Pat Mahomes?
I genuinely don't want to talk about the Chiefs. I have a feeling they'll end up winning that game just because they're the Chiefs and I don't want to see it, but the Texans also haven't been that exciting to me. That game is probably the least exciting of the four games that are going to be played. So,
For you, yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to
I
be
am, as far as the Chiefs, I am I think the Chiefs will win, but I am rooting for CJ Stroud,
me
Buckeye,
too.
and the Texans.
Me
I
too.
am rooting for the upset in that one for sure. And then you have another. There's some good matchups for sure. There you have the Detroit Lions and the Commanders. The Commanders go up to Detroit.
That's going
You
to be
know,
a fun one.
you
That's
know, you
going to
have the
be
whole
fun.
Detroit swag and sway they've been riding all year, and Jaden Daniels going up there and the magic he possesses and has, in late games. I feel like if Detroit lets the Commanders hang around, Jaden Daniels might pull out some of that magic he's been pulling out every now and then when he
Exactly
needs
what I was
to.
going to
So,
say. It's
but
exactly
I
what
think Detroit's going to have to start off fast and just, have a double digit lead on them to keep them off because the Commanders are definitely a tough team for sure.
Yeah, my note here literally says bury them early.
Yeah,
You
got
have
to. Yeah.
to. You have to
Get
basically
that home
demoralize
crowd
them
behind them.
and put Jaden Daniels in a situation where he can't create that magic. Because if you let him sneak in there, we saw it with Baker and the Bucks. If you let him
Yep.
sneak in there, he's gonna find a way to have that special magic. So
Yeah. No,
gotta
definitely.
gotta keep him down early.
Yeah, no, that's definitely going to be an interesting one. It's going to be on Saturday at 8. And that's why it's going to be a good little night game there. But then you have the Bills and the Ravens, the top two MVP candidates.
Oh,
That's
that's gonna be such a battle.
man, what? That's going to be great. I can't wait to see that one. You got Lamar, Derrick Henry and them boys. You got the Bills, Josh Allen playing well, defense playing well. So,
Both
but it will,
defenses have been weaker throughout the season and have looked better as we've come into the playoffs. So
yeah,
it'll be exciting. I think that could be a high scoring game though.
yeah, definitely, and it will be in Buffalo as well. So, Bills Mafia, you know, be out there being loud, trying to, and we don't know what the weather will be like yet either.
If
So
it
that's gonna,
snows, oh man, that does. If it snows, I think it actually gives the Bills an advantage. They're so used to
yeah,
seeing that.
I think so as well. I think so. But no, that's definitely going to be a game. And then the Eagles, they'll play the winner of tonight's game out of the Rams and the Vikings. So, but give me Eagles in that.
Yeah.
I don't care who they're playing. But
I think the Vikings will
give
probably.
them a tougher matchup.
I like the Vikings to win tonight. I like a bounce back for Sam Darnold. And then it'll be a much closer matchup. I think if the Eagles play the Rams, I think the Eagles will lock that up. And I'd like to see a better game, which I think could be the Vikings Eagles game.
You know what? I got the Rams tonight.
Do
Like
you?
this is yeah. They're at home and
They're not really at home though.
said they're not.
They're not. It's technically now a neutral site because they're out in
Well,
Arizona.
well, yeah, true, true. But
But they will have
Mi-
their home fans and
yeah, yeah. Minnesota will still have to travel further, but I like Stafford in this. I just trust him more than I do Darnold. And
yeah.
with Puka Nakua and the boys out there, I think they might pull off the upset. So give me the Rams in that one.
The Rams have exceptional talent. They have struggled this year despite that talent through injuries, through just general struggles to win games. But Stafford
Hmm.
definitely does have more playoff experience. So
Yeah,
I
definitely.
would
And
trust
got a
him more in
Super
that
Bowl ring.
situation. But I want to, you know what?
I know you're
This
rooting
is
for
just me as
Darnold.
I'm rooting for Sam Darnold. And
Yeah,
obviously I'm rooting for Justin Jefferson and
yeah, that's
one of
my
my
guy.
guys, one of my LSU guys. I love those
Yeah,
guys. Speaking of 5 years ago today, greatest college football team in history won their national championship, LSU.
no, for sure. And in history, I would have to question you on that one, but they
My
definitely had it.
favorite.
They definitely had a great roster. I would say, my opinion, the greatest team was 2001 Miami
I mean,
Hurricanes.
yeah,
But yeah,
I knew that one was coming. Yeah.
that could be another argument though, you know. But let's talk about this coaching carousel that's been going on. You know, you
Lots of
got your boy Mike Vrabel. You caught it. He signed
yeah.
with the Patriots.
Oh
You
no,
know,
I'm shocked. What? When did that happen?
yeah, you caught it. You definitely caught it.
Yeah.
But and then also in Dallas, they let Mike McCarthy go. So I have no idea. I'm gonna ask you, but me personally, I have no idea where Jerry Jones is gonna go as far as the coaching
He's about to
next coach.
hire himself as the head coach. There are some people that play chess and not checkers. Jerry Jones is playing checkers, not chess.
Yeah,
I have
not
no
chess.
idea what he's doing because uh, they were not very successful with Mike McCarthy, but they also liked him as a coach. They were struggling with injuries. This was
Yeah.
not a year where you can just let him go, but I think that he wanted a longer contract than a 1 year contract. Jerry Jones is the king of situationships. He keeps
Hmm.
giving 1 year extensions, 1 year, 1 year. Like at some point, you want them to commit to you. And I
Yeah.
feel like maybe Mike McCarthy was getting tired of that. And so maybe
Uh-huh.
some internal discussions. But yeah, Jerry Jones is your situationship that just will not commit to you.
Yeah. On
And
a
eventually,
year
eventually you gotta
basis.
part ways from that toxicity.
Yeah, he's on like a year basis type thing, you know, and it's
Exactly.
like a coach at the end of the year don't know if he's even going to be there next year if he's trying to build or rebuild. So it's like, but one thing I will say about the Cowboys is that I think that they needed this, even though Jerry Jones is still at the helm. I think they need a new, fresh start. I also think they need a fresh start at the quarterback position as well. I don't think Dak is their guy.
They
I
spent a
think
lot of money on him, though.
they definitely did, but they definitely need new look at the coaching job. I think they need that fresh start. It will help them for sure, in my opinion, if they get the right guy.
I don't think it comes until the end of Jerry Jones's tenure. And I'm going to say it like that very
For
nicely.
sure. I think they kind of got a Jerry Jones jinx as far as the Super Bowl goes. I don't think they will ever get one until after he's gone,
He's out
in
here
my
blinding
opinion.
his own players with his stadium rebuild. That was
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I actually lived in Dallas when they rebuilt that stadium, when they built that stadium and tore down the old Texas Stadium. I actually lived out there. Yeah, it's I love Dallas, but it sucked because of the fans. You know, me being an Eagles fan, but I definitely love the city. But let's talk about the college football matchup. National championship game is set. You got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Notre Dame, they won a close game against Penn State, 24-27. Ohio State won their matchup in the Cotton Bowl against Texas, 28-14. So
Mhm.
now we have a national championship game set with two historic teams.
We got both of
Both,
those games right, too.
yeah, we did. We picked both of those right. Yeah, we both picked Notre Dame. We both picked Ohio State. Both Ohio State and Notre Dame since 1936 have both 8 national championships.
Wow.
So it's
And
kind of be a little,
head coach has a national championship right now either. So,
yeah. Both will be first time national champions as
yeah.
well. Yeah, and Notre Dame hasn't beaten Ohio State also since 1936. So I just had the 1936 thing in there, you know.
Sounds like a
But
long time coming, if you ask me.
yeah. I think it's still going to be a long time coming because I got the Buckeyes in that one, man. don't get me wrong, Notre Dame is tough. They run the ball well, got a great O line. Riley Leonard runs the ball well. They got a tough defense, back end of the defense. Their safeties are good. Xavier Watts. They got a tough D line, but I think Ohio State will just be too much for them. Ryan Day, he's been getting a lot of slander, obviously, with the Michigan loss, but he's definitely bounced back. I think Ohio State has had the toughest road in the playoffs of any other team as well.
Certainly.
And for them to look as good as they have, and they obviously are on a mission. So I got the Buckeyes in that one big.
Yeah. The Buckeyes just Ohio State feels more mission oriented at this point. What I really liked about Notre Dame's win is, last week I was out here going, Riley Leonard, he's a dog, he's carrying this team, right? His team carried
Hmm.
him in that game. And so it was really nice to see the team rally around the quarterback that had led them to that point. So I
Yeah.
actually feel more confident in Notre Dame as a team than I have in weeks.
Hmm.
I still have the Buckeyes in this one, but I think it's going to be a much better game and a much closer game than people are expecting.
Yeah, I think so too. That's what I think as well. I think it'll be close for a little while, but I think kind of at the end, Ohio State will kind of stretch out the lead. But I think Notre Dame will play them tough for at least the first half, maybe going into that third quarter. I think they're going to play them tough. Marcus Freeman, he did an excellent job out there with them boys, and they're going to be fired up, to try to get their natty. All they got to do is just pull off, which will be a big upset for
Big
them.
upset. Big
Um,
upset.
Running back for Notre Dame, Jeremiah Love, he had some pretty slick stuff to say. He said he wanted after the Penn State game. He said he wanted to play Ohio State. He wanted Ohio State to beat Texas because he wanted to play Ohio State because they played Ohio State back-to-back years previously and they lost both of them. So he felt like they should have won. So he said he wanted to get some get back against Ohio State. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be bulletin board material for Ryan Day and the Buckeyes
Yeah, I think
come
it'll also be
Monday.
bulletin board material for Notre Dame there too. I think the great thing about being an athlete and a real athlete, a real competitor, is that you do want to play the best. And you want to walk
Hmm.
into a situation where you're facing the biggest hurdle, the tallest mountain, and you want to conquer it. And so there is going to be some
Absolutely.
grit to Notre Dame, and I do think they're going to hang around much longer than I think people expect.
Yeah, if
Ohio
they can
State.
run the ball and keep the Buckeyes offense off the field, it's definitely going to keep it close.
Time on
But I
field will be a huge factor.
But I just feel like the Buckeyes, that's what they're going to key on because Riley Leonard doesn't throw the ball as much. They're going to put so many in the box and dare him to throw against the man coverage that Ohio State usually runs with their corners. So it's
Yeah.
going to be interesting.
I'm excited about it. I think that there was a couple of matchups that I would have enjoyed seeing in the national championship, and this one was on my list for sure.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. All right, well, let's get into a little bit things other than football. Coming this Friday, correct, the 17th.
Yep.
The
Big
women's
women's sports
basketball,
week.
yeah, Unrivaled will announce the league and start the league on TNT, correct? Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct.
Yes.
TNT
All
has
right.
the exclusive media rights partnership deal with Unrivaled, which is super special for women's sports. I love this league. It's setting a brand new bar for women's sports. It is
Mm-hmm.
started by Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, who
Yes.
are the perfect two people to be starting this league. What
Yes.
better way to run a women's sports league than by having two of the best
Brianna
dictate how
Stewart,
it
that's my
goes?
girl. Yeah.
Olympic gold medalists, they played each other in the WNBA finals. These are two of the best players in the league, and they're setting a new standard in women's
Mm-hmm.
sports. If you don't know what Unrivaled is already, it is a new professional women's basketball league that plays in the off season of the WNBA. It'll be a
Yep.
3-on-3 league
3-on-3
with
league.
shortened, smaller court for better action. They'll have 6 teams all playing in Miami, essentially
Mm-hmm.
in a bubble. Not a bubble. That's I feel like a
Yeah, yeah,
traumatic
yeah,
word
yeah.
for people.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they'll all be living in Miami, playing in
Miami, yeah.
Miami
All six
while
teams will
this
be in
season
Miami.
goes on. And essentially WNBA players a lot of times in the offseason have to go play overseas, and that's where they make a majority of their money because they do have to sublimate that lesser income that the WNBA makes.
Yeah, but
Um,
they be away from their families a lot too.
and they're
Yeah.
away
So
from their families and they get into situations like Brittany Griner out in Russia
yeah.
a couple years
Uh-huh.
ago. So
Hundred
this will be
percent.
36 players that are all going to be playing here in the States in the off season, and they're being offered the highest average salaries in all of women's sports, which is incredible.
Yes, that's good.
Number one.
Congrats.
And then every single player who plays in the league, all 36 players, are going to be part owners of this league as well, which incentivizes the big name players to play. And they also raised $35 million in funding and sponsorships for the inaugural season. And they have major investors. You got like Michael Phelps and his wife are investors. Coco Gauff is an investor. Don
Mm-hmm.
Daly, the South Carolina women's basketball head coach.
Yeah, head
And
coach. Yep.
even Giannis is getting involved in it as well. So there are so many people that are investing into this league. They have an exclusive media rights deal. It's so
Mm-hmm.
special. The things that they're doing, Big Red, are incredible. I just some of the things that they're doing, oh, like chef's kiss. I love it. It's so good. They've started a campaign and a marketing initiative that is the future is unrivaled.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially they have NIL deals with like Paige Beckers and Floje Johnson, and it's going to keep this league in existence going forward. It's essentially guaranteeing more seasons of this league by having a
Yeah,
future in this
yeah.
league. So
And I
that's
could see this league also expanding.
it exactly. I
I
mean,
could see it
Caitlin Clark is
expanding.
not even playing in this league this season. I could see
Yeah.
potentially getting her at
I,
some point to come
I
play in.
heard Angel Reese was. Am I correct? Angel
Angel
Reese,
Reese is playing. She'll
my
be
girl
on the
Sabrina.
Roses. She'll be on the Roses. Sabrina
Yeah.
Ionescu is playing. She'll be on the Phantom. And a
Yeah,
fan
my girl.
favorite,
Yeah.
Kate Martin, she's on the Laces. So it's
Yeah.
going to be spectacular. And I just think there's one other thing about this league that I want to note. And that is that they did have an official beauty partner in Sephora, and their
Mm-hmm.
media day was all essentially done by Sephora. They gave them these incredible packages with all this makeup and stuff. They brought in beauty advisors to do the girls' makeup and hair and makeup for media day, and they made
That's dope.
sure to bring in beauty technicians who knew how to work with black hair and makeup, and made sure that all these girls looked incredible on media day. They had a blast, and I love the sponsorship, the partnership with Sephora, because especially for me, like as a former women's athlete, a lot of times it's looked at as you're either a girly girl or a sporty girl. And I love
Yeah.
the W,
That you can be both.
Angel Reese, the so many women in
Mm-hmm.
this league now, Cameron Brink with the game day outfits are bridging that gap and making it an
Yeah.
acceptable and really well received thing to be both
Yeah.
fashionable and beautiful and also strong and an athlete
Yeah.
and a competitor. And there's
Uh-huh.
so many women that are doing that. I mean, I can think of like Alona Mar, the U.S. women's rugby player, uh,
Mm-hmm.
who kind of kickstarted that campaign for women as well. But I love the partnership with Sephora. I think it's a really great idea.
Yeah, I mean, I never really understood the big issue with I mean, girls are girls, you know. You should be able to put on your makeup and, you know, be a girly girl and also, you know, take the makeup off and get down on the court and do what you got to do, you know. There's nothing wrong with that. But no, it's good to see that the WNBA and the women's basketball has came a long way. They've been dealing with a lot of battles, you know, as far as getting paid, getting the admission that they deserve. You know, so it's good to see that things are starting to finally work out, and it can be a lot more easier on those girls and the women and the families also, because Miami is not that far compared to going overseas all the time. So
The salaries are
congratulations to the
fantastic. The
yeah
getting an
no
exclusive media rights deal in your first season is
uh-huh.
almost unheard of for women's
I
sports.
can definitely see the expansion in the future for sure,
I
which
love
is
it. And I
good.
love 3-on-3 ball. I mean, that's so much
Yeah.
fun. It's different. You're not giving the same thing that you've been getting all through the WNBA season. It's going to be a big shakeup. 3-on-3
Mm-hmm.
basketball, in my opinion, is the best basketball that can be played because you have to be playing at the highest level and be the most technically sound to
Yeah.
play in the 3-on-3.
There's less room for error for sure.
I'll be backing the Phantom, by the way. I don't know if I said that. Sabrina Ionescu, she'll be on the Phantom. That'll be my team. That's my girl.
That's my
That's
girl
my
too.
girl.
Yeah,
Love her.
no, she's
So,
like that's my favorite WNBA player for sure. Yeah, her and Brianna. So I'll be rooting for them too for sure.
yeah,
Definitely.
gonna be
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, it was a great show. Appreciate everybody that's going to listen. I appreciate you, Tony, always with your bright insight. And we'll see you guys next time on the He Said, She Said podcast. And I'm your host, Big Red, along with Tony. And we'll see you guys next time. Love and peace.